Let's do a true or false here, John. It's basically the cream of the crop in 2022.
Ooh.
So we're going to just look at these stars or superstars and sort them. So first one, Nikola Jokic.
Can Andrew chime in on this? It's a quick yes,
please,
no, right? Okay.
No, if Andrew disagrees, I want his opinion in here too. 100%.
Okay. So let's go Jeremy. So Nikola Jokic, Jeremy?
Absolutely a superstar.
Yes. Analytics hater. Yes.
Are you going next, or am I going to keep rattling?
You read the name. Sorry.
True. Yes.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes. True.
Yes. True. Okay. Great.
Joel Embiid. True. Luka Doncic. True. Jason Tatum. True. Didn't get an answer from John though. Did we?
Can I?
Oh, John.
Oh, John, come on. John, he's a superstar. He is.
Can I pause?
Yeah. Okay.
Can I come back to it?
Again, like, are you trying to sort people into a top 10?
Yes.
Or are you?
Because I am of the belief that there are only so many of these guys in the league at one time.
Right. But like, there could also be 11. There could be 12. Like, if the immense amount of talent that's there, and I understand because we're talking about distinctions, right? Like, if you're not getting an all NBA, it's because you're snubbed. And if you're snubbed, why is it? Is it because you're bad, or is it because players ahead of you are just better?
All right.
I know he laid an egg in game 1 against the Bucks today, but he's a super.
No, I don't care. That's not why I'm.
I know. I was just
there's a
jab
name,
in there where I could.
There's a name coming up in a few that if Jason Tatum gave you pause.
Oh no, I'm listen, I take this shit very seriously. So look, I will give Tatum the benefit of the doubt, but I want it noted for the record that I had to think about it.
Okay. That's okay. So, but we have at least come to the agreement so far of 5 names for true superstars.
Yes.
Stephen Curry.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Devin Booker.
No.
That's funny because I actually view him as a superstar.
Okay.
The efficiency, the scoring, the ability, like, so many great scoring guards just don't care about defense, and he certainly does. And I think that the fact that he's able to do that as well puts him into this category where it's not like, to me, a Bradley Beal type player. Again, like, his offense is better than Bradley Beal's, but
he's better than Bradley Beal. But I have to go with my gut here. I'm just gonna. It's when you see it. Andrew, you didn't say anything.
I'm also a no, but it's like, I believe he can be the Suns' best player in the system that they have and the offense and how perfectly well run that team is. I think he can be like the Finals MVP this year, which is why this exercise is interesting.
And yet there's a reason.
I don't know if you take him out of that, what that looks like. Now that's not his fault, like, I don't know what Jokic looks like not on that. Although I do, when you take away Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I know what Jokic looks like. I guess my thing with Booker,
he still looks like the best player. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's a no, but it's like, it sounds so disrespectful if I think because to your rubric, Jeremy, this is a guy that struggled for a while to consistently get on All-Star teams and All NBA teams and all of that.
Keep in mind, he's also younger, right? Right. But he's also a younger player other than Jason Tatum. He's young, or I guess Luka too, right? Like, he's still a younger guy. He's making his way. Like, when Chris Paul was out, the Suns didn't miss a beat with Devin Booker as their best player.
Actually, no, he is. No. Now that I'm doing the math, like, this might be the time that he has finally risen to that. But yeah, Devin Booker's a superstar. Now that I look at it, the way that we're grading by the rubric that Jeremy was talking about, he's going to make first or second All NBA this year. He's now a perennial All-Star. Might be the best player on a Finals team. He's a superstar,
and he's also 25 years old. Mm-hmm. I think that the thing to consider is that so many of these great talents, even some of them who we've mentioned, did not really hit the gas pedal until their 7th, 8th year. Steph is lucky because I don't say lucky, like he's incredible and he is a superstar. But like, you look at how long it has taken. I'm not trying to lump Devin Booker into this conversation, but just as a pure example, Michael Jordan didn't win his first title until. But you're
no, it's an example.
Let me just continue what I'm saying before you
example.
Michael Jordan didn't win his first title as the best player in his team.
30 years old.
Right, 30 years old. LeBron James. It took him how long? Until he went to Miami and finally was able to win something. And like, what was it? His 8th or 9th year?
9th year.
Year 9. So the point is that you can still be a superstar player. It's just a matter of like, are we also going to view Devin Booker right now in 2022? Which, yes, because that's the prompt. That's what I'm saying. But you also have to consider in a few years from now, right? Like some of these players might be aging out. When Stephen Curry is perhaps 39 years old, are we still going to consider him a true superstar?
That's the exercise I did in my head, Jeremy, is I looked at the rest of the list like, oh, I actually do put him ahead of this person. And it's because these guys are in their 30s transitioning into different parts. And Devin Booker has ascended to that level. He might be like 9 or 10. Guard. Yeah, he might be like 9 or 10. Right. But
I think there's a difference between saying like he's like he's 10, 9, exactly, Andrew, or like he's a top 5 guy. Like I think you can have sub levels within these superstar categories, but at the same time, to me, it's like
no, hold on. I have to speak up. No, you can't.
You can't.
There is no sub-level of superstar. There is
Giannis
superstar.
Antetokounmpo is the best player in the world as far as I'm concerned. And Nikola Jokic had a better season. Does that make Nikola Jokic a better player than Giannis? I don't think so. All
of these guys that we've said so far, Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Doncic, and this is why I hemmed and hawed about Tatum, because like those four and Curry, if it's one game, you got to win. And it's like, all right, you're getting one guy. You get one guy for this game. And you gave me those 5 names. We've just gone through now 7 with Tatum and Booker. Like, I don't know who I'm taking first. I don't know who I'm taking second. I don't know who I'm taking third. I know who I'm taking 6th and 7th. Tatum and Booker in some order. The fact that I clearly can delineate that, and whereas it's Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Doncic, Curry, I'm starting to ask questions. Who else is on the roster? Like, are they like this? That's, to me, that says all you need to know. But listen, I'm in the minority apparently here.
But here's the thing, though. You're saying one game, right? Well, okay. We just said Stephen Curry is a superstar. How many NBA Finals MVPs does Stephen Curry have?
Oh, that's nonsense.
Well, no, but that's my point. If you're saying that you have to, like, if you have one game, right, or one series that everything matters, you have to be the best version, and that is a true superstar, then by that logic, like that's not Stephen Curry. And we know Stephen Curry is a superstar. Like it's not about, hey, Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP, so he's a superstar. He's not. But that's still the whole point of like, you need, if you're looking at these guys and you're saying like the best of the best when they win, like we saw Giannis have a 50 piece last year in the clinching game where they scored like 105 points. I know you did on a bum knee. like there's a difference between that level of dominance when it really mattered and what Stephen Curry has done in his finals experience. And I'm not saying it takes away from who Stephen Curry is as a superstar. I'm just saying if you're talking about one game or one series and we have evidence of a superstar who has been absolutely elite, one of the best players we've ever seen, but has not brought his A game repeatedly when it matters most. And then you're saying like the same thing in terms of how it transitions with like how you wouldn't have Devin Booker, you wouldn't have Jason Tatum as like one guy in line. It doesn't feel like it feels like a mixed message to me is all.
John, hold on. So the example you used, the one game. So why didn't Steph win a game in the play-in last year? Those are literally 1 game sample sizes where he like willed his team, played his best and lost in both 1 game scenarios.
I understand.
That's a scenario that saying one game for the human race is like fun, but like at a certain point, like obviously other circumstances matter. Also, Luka just got to the second round for the first time in his life. Yes. So to say all of that 1 game needs to happen, he's lost that 1 game a lot.
I am just going with have every superstar in NBA history has had a game of massive importance where they did not have a great game. So maybe that example is not the best example. It's
your gut reaction.
Yes, it's my gut. Okay. Like if I'm going into a big game or a big series or a big season with Steph Curry on my team, as he is right now, I don't know when he's going to age out of this. I'm going to feel pretty comfortable. And it's like, how do you account for like, he's swept in 2017 and 2019. The Warriors swept teams out of the Western Conference Finals. In 2015, they won 4-1. Steph Curry averaged over 30 points a game in all three of those series. He averaged 36.5 points a game in their 4-0 sweep of Portland in 2018. It's like, what do you do with this stuff? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, you're talking about one game. Like this is what came to mind in games 4 and 5 of the NBA Finals last year. Booker put up 42 and 40. And they were efficient.
Great.
And like we also just saw this year before he dapped up a baby and got hurt. Not saying it was the baby's fault, but maybe it was. Like how red hot he was. And
I understand.
from the like. It's not just to be like, oh, he's a bucket and a hooper, and you move on. And like there are levels.
Awesome,
right?
So, but hold on, Jeremy. I have a thought here. Then, so as a result, Jeremy needs to continue the list, and I need you to apply all of that to the next guy.
Of Kevin Durant,
without question, yes.
You paused on Jason Tatum, who just played him off the floor in a series and swept him 4-0.
Also, what has Durant been able to do as the number one player, where he went with Stephen Curry and was then able to be his best self?
That dude had the best playoff series I've ever seen, or maybe not I've ever seen. He had the best playoff series I've seen from a player in. Maybe LeBron James had a better playoffs. I'm sure LeBron James had a better playoff series. I'm not thinking of, but the playoff series Kevin Durant had a year ago against Milwaukee was as good as anything I've ever seen. And this year, his coach played him 45 fucking minutes a night every game because Kevin Durant, the GM, did a shitty job of trading for James Harden, and then James Harden, stopped trying and had to be traded, and they traded him for a guy who couldn't play basketball, and Kyrie Irving, vaccine, yada, yada, yada. Like Kevin Durant was cooked. Like he had nothing left. He's a superstar.
Sounds like something a superstar would overcome, Jeremy. I don't know.
Yeah. Who did Stephen Curry have on his team last year in the play-in?
I feel like this is a bit. Like, are we really talking about this?
No, we are talking about this. Not because it's putting one down. It's if you're using the logic of like the one big game or the big series, and then you're going back and saying like, well, with Kevin Durant last year, he had an incredible season. He did, but last year was also last year. And we're talking about this year, and we're considering moving forward.
I think, for the record, Jeremy and I will both have Kevin Durant as a superstar.
Okay,
100%.
Can I just a polite request? Can I see Jason Tatum be the best player on a conference finalist? Can I see?
We did. We saw it.
Jason Tatum.
When they played
Celtics, when they went to the conference finals,
the Cavs series,
when they got absolutely, that was a weird year. They got smoked by the Cavs,
but
or by not a great.
They lost in 7.
You just asked for when he can be the best player on a team that wins the conference finals, and I just gave you the time where he did it, and he was 21 years old.
They lost to LeBron in 7,
and they won the first LeBron games.
Yeah,
that was a deceptive 7-game series, and there was a terrible Cavs team.
They lost to LeBron. You just asked for it, and I just gave it to you. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there are examples here.
They blew them out in the 3 wins too. Now I think about it. Yeah.
That's because that Cavs team was awful.
You're now pointing to teammates to now say like that's what I'm talking about. If teammates don't matter, then like a superstar should be able to overcome it. Like
there was
LeBron
never a point in that series where anyone was like, Jason Tatum, LeBron James, who's the better player? If you are a superstar with capital S, and if you go up against another superstar, the conversation at some point in the beginning of that series, middle of that series, end of that series will be, which of these guys, like at least with Tatum, this past series with Durant, there was a conversation. Who's the better guy? And Durant, you're right. Or excuse me, Tatum had the better series. I still want to see a little bit more. Devin Booker. Who's the best player on the Suns? Was it Chris Paul's? Devin Booker? I don't know. This year, it appears that Booker has superseded him. Do I really think that Devin Booker is the most important player on the Suns? After I watched the Suns defeat the Pelicans in Game 6 the other night with Booker doing a lot of nothing and Chris Paul having a generationally amazing game, like I still have to ask that question. At the end of the day, you know what when you say it.
Okay. So Chris Paul, then
I do just want to also take one moment though. I don't want to revise history here because the whole thing with LeBron and Tatum for that series wasn't has Jason Tatum eclipsed LeBron. It was Jason Tatum looks legit and is on track to do things that LeBron James has done because look at how young and how talented he is. And then of course LeBron James was like, yeah, hey, I'm LeBron James and I'm going to win the next 4 out of 5, and they did.
That block in the third quarter of LeBron that put the Celtics on a 7-0 run to put them up 7 And then the 19-year-old didn't realize, oh, I should take over the game. And then the Celtics went cold. I don't like that I remember that game from heart.
Okay.
By the way.
Look, maybe Tatum gets there this year. He may get there in a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm not there yet with him. I'm right there. Here's where I'm at. Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Doncic, Curry, Durant. That's 6 yeses for me. Chris Paul's a no.
Chris Paul's a no. So you have no superstars on the Suns?
No. That's why I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. That's why
that is consistent with what you said.
It is.
Wow.
See, I think
I like there's disagreement there, Jeremy. I gotta be honest. I like there's disagreement here.
It's fair. But I honestly see Chris Paul as a superstar, and I think from like his entire career and the fact that he certainly was looked at as one of players on the worst contracts in the NBA, to come back from that to legitimately play incredibly well. Like, to me, the Suns, it's funny that you view them as having no superstars. I see them as having 2 superstars, but they may not be like top 5 superstars, right? They're still in that cutoff range, but you're still getting guys who are, in my opinion, superstar caliber.
And again, there is zero question who the best player in this series between Phoenix and Dallas is. And the fact that there is zero question about who the best player in the series is, to me, tells me all I need to know about how many superstars are in that series. There's one.
But again, you could say Luka Doncic is a better player than Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And you could also say that there's still all.
No, you can. Oh God, we can go back and forth.
You can.
Clyde Drexler was not a superstar, even though when he went into the series with Jordan in '92, people were like, I don't know, this is the best next best guy.
That's not. He's not a superstar. He's not Michael Jordan. Like there's a difference there.
It's the LeBron Tatum thing, and to it, I mean, obviously, difference between Tatum and Drexler in this situation. But like, again, if we're comparing one of, if not maybe the greatest players of all time, and then saying like, how do they stack up to them? First of all, if you're even questioning that, as you said, like if there's ever a thought, then that just goes to show something's going pretty well. But it's a very different situation to say like, hey, maybe you're not one of the greatest of all time, but you're still a superstar. You can have both those things be true at the same time.
One follow-up question, and that might. So when Michael Jordan was playing, how many superstars were there in the league?
I think that's a great question. It's also a little funny because like you had a guy that on paper was a superstar, and yet if you watched him, you knew he wasn't, in Carmelo. But so Shaq was a superstar.
Shaq never won a title against Michael Jordan.
I don't care. That guy was a superstar from the day he stepped foot on a basketball court. And there's also other stuff to consider, like Grant Hill. Grant Hill was a superstar before he got injured.
Never made it out of the first round.
I don't care. That dude would have had.
So then winning has nothing to do with whether you're a superstar. Of course it does,
but sometimes superstars are on teams that are not very good. But it happens.
But you're saying that on one hand, the superstar has to raise the team so well that's why they're superstars. On the other hand, it's like, well, but
no, I didn't.
Because of their team.
I don't think I've said that.
Andrew, am I?
That's what you said. That there's no question if this person went up against this person, who's better, and like the weight. Okay, so then how do you determine who's better by who scores more points or who wins game?
No, it's just you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it. That is the definition. How is it like Charles Barkley was unequivocally a superstar, and you know what? For one series against Jordan, he gave it everything he had. And there were moments where you're like, you know what? Yeah, Jordan is the better player, but like, man, Barkley's giving it to him right now. And like, you never had that sensation with Malone because Malone was like, he was Malone.
So does it have to be one-on-one in terms of playing that superstar in order for it to
No, it doesn't matter. Like, Hakeem Olajuwon, superstar. Hands down. Patrick Ewing, not a superstar.
Ooh. You thought they were going to be mad at you about Reggie Miller.
But look, I get you. David Robinson. Analytically, there are some analytics that say he's one of the fucking 10 greatest players. Not a superstar. But
would you consider Hakeem Olajuwon a superstar if Michael Jordan never left the NBA? Because that would a big factor of Olajuwon's career is that he was able to win the MVP, that he won 2 titles while Jordan was gone, the 2 years that Jordan was gone. If he doesn't win a championship, he came
up huge so often, but so many times.
There are other stars and superstars who, as Andrew was talking about, like if they're not Michael Jordan, then who? Guys whose careers were not the way that we see them because of the fact that they didn't win a title.
There are superstars. Barkley, there's no question in my mind that Barkley's a superstar. He didn't win a title.
And not Robinson or Ewing?
No.
Wow. So you're like a small hall guy when it comes to like how I'm that way with baseball, where it's like
I'm trying to think of another guy
impress me. So is Scottie Pippen a superstar?
That's a great one. That's one of the most fascinating ones, I think, in NBA history, because I don't think so. My gut is to say no.
Okay.
Because I think he was meant to be a number 2, you know,
but is he, we also saw Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan, and he did a pretty damn good job. It's like
a Hubert Davis phantom call away from getting to the conference final.
Right. Like the way I see it is Scottie Pippen like
finished 4th in MVP, 3rd or 4th in MVP voting that year.
Yeah.
Is Scottie Pippen not a superstar because he played with Michael Jordan, who is a vastly better player because he was Michael Jordan? Or was he a superstar the whole time and Michael Jordan's just a better player?
I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that question. I don't know.
This is a fascinating conversation. I got to be honest. This is one of my favorite conversations we've had on the pod. Yes. Go ahead, Jeremy. Next question. Next player.
Anthony Davis.
No.
I also say no.
I say no. But again, like this is a guy who here's the thing. You can't say, or you can, but I don't quite get it. Like if Grant Hill and his injuries is a factor, but for Anthony Davis, when he was perennial MVP ballot guy, all NBA,
to be clear,
boy winner. Like
I'm saying now he's not like he used to be. Like now he's not is what I'm saying.
That's where I stand as well.
Okay.
He was, so we're saying that at one point he was a superstar, but now he currently is not.
Yes. There's a thing that I don't know if John was doing.
I'm not saying that, but maybe we can all agree he's not one now.
I am saying this because I don't know if John was doing this, but there's a thing we do with a lot of guys in the Western Conference over the last 5 years that it didn't win or get out of the Western Conference, where they just kept losing to the Warriors. And it's like, oh, well, you never won anything. It's like, yeah, because they played the best team ever assembled, arguably. So like, I'm not going to get mad at AD for losing in 5 to Katie and Steph. I'm not going to get mad at Dame for not getting past the Warriors 3 separate occasions. You know, like we
didn't get to Dame yet.
Then I'm saying Anthony Davis used to be, and at this point in his career, availability matters a lot, and I can't count on him. And as well as the fact that I think he's also like his shooting ability is not what it used to be either. So I'm bumping him like right outside the OLI, the outside looking in for Anthony Davis.
Okay, so I
swear to God, if the next guy's a superstar, I might join Jeremy in driving to Brooklyn with you. To get
Trae Young.
No.
Okay.
He could be.
You can't be a one-way. You can't be a one-way player and be a superstar.
The DH.
Yes. Kawhi Leonard.
0 question. Yes.
But see, that's the other thing. Like that's another guy who didn't even play this entire season, and I feel comfortable saying he is a superstar. But we are also looking at lines where it's like, this guy is because of injury, but this guy's because of injury, but he's the other direction. So
like if he comes back and he's not the same player, then I'll change my answer. But until I see that, and I've seen this guy come back from injury once and be as good as any player in this and have the best playoff game I think I've probably ever seen. Yeah.
Okay. LeBron James.
Yes. Absolutely.
Brandon Ingram.
No.
I say no as well, but I think he could very easily get there based on what we saw. It seemed like a glimpse into quite a good future. But again, like, is he then a superstar, or is he just like the high level of star, but knocking on the door of superstar status? He doesn't get there.
Okay.
I'll say no. I'm not putting him above Tatum. But it would not be shocking to me if at one point we were having a conversation about like Tatum and Ingram. I think Ingram's really good.
I do too. Okay.
I'm just saying it's surprising to hear that, but then have a hesitancy on Tatum and Ingram being no. Like if you're saying that these are two guys who might be neck and neck for like who is the face in a lot of ways of basketball, but at this point, neither of them is even in the running, really.
I don't think either of them is in the running.
But then why?
No, sorry. I should say Tatum is absolutely in the running for superstar status. I do not think Ingram is. I just think Ingram. I'm just saying it would not shock me if at some point he'd get there, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. Let's go to the next name.
Paul George.
No.
Like that's the thing. because I've talked about this in the past where I have slandered Paul George and I've had to reconsider that slander and take it back, because I think that when all is said and done, when you look at the body of work that Paul George has put together, it is actually superstar caliber. The only thing is that then it's like, well, he was injured this year, but so was Kawhi. And Paul George was able to help keep this team remain afloat. And then you talk about, well, the talent and the superstar and the players around you. Like, again, I still think he is like very much borderline. But if you had to get me to say yes, I honestly would feel comfortable being like lower end, potentially, yeah.
Again,
there's no lower end.
There are no ends. There are no ends.
But there are
higher end. There's no lower end.
There are, because again,
there are, though.
It's Giannis Antetokounmpo to me, and then like the rest of the field, and then leading that field is guys like Nikola Jokic. It's Joel Embiid. It's Luka Doncic knocking on the door. Like that is where I think there's a very big difference between a superstar and a star. But the reason I say that is because the difference between a star and a non-star, the gap there is closer than it is from superstar to star.
Hold on. I have a question to ask you, John. So your 1 game scenario, right? So
can I alter that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
And and let me try to phrase it differently.
Mm-hmm.
If Giannis Antetokounmpo, who we're I guess all putting at number 1, okay, fine. I don't even know if I want to do that, but fine.
Okay.
I am now, and let's just get the last name out of the way. Damian Lillard. Yes for you, Jeremy?
I'm at yes.
I'm going to say yes, but I don't love that I'm saying yes.
There's like a chance that this could be the last time I say yes if he comes back and if he looks like a lesser version of himself. But
he is in the Kawhi Leonard camp of like, again, he's been so dominant that it's a yes until proven no. But I also could see the argument for why next year it is simply a no.
Yeah, in the same way, I'm not holding Luka at fault for not getting out of the first round. Dame's having 60-point playoff games and losing. That's not his. Like, I don't blame him for that. You know,
I'll say this is the toughest one for me yet. But this is where I am holding the injury against him more than Kawhi. 1, small guard. 2, getting old. We saw some slippage in terms of some percentages and whatnot. I think he's my within the last year, I definitely would have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would have said yes, but it's
not egregious to me if you say no because of like,
it's a no. It's a no. And you know what? I may flip on Tatum, but so let me give you my thing and then you could respond.
Go ahead.
Giannis plays in a playoff series with, and I'm just going to go through the players that I have as a yes for superstar. So Antetokounmpo, Jokic, Embiid, Doncic, Curry, Durant, Kawhi, LeBron James. I have 8 superstars. If Giannis goes into a series with any of those guys, and then at the end of that series, we turn around and be like, player X, whichever one of the other 7 I've just named, right, outplayed Giannis in that series. No one would bat an eyelash. It would be like, okay, yeah, because it's insert your player name here. If anybody else on this list outplayed Giannis, and you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Even Tatum, I think if he outplays Giannis in this series, we're going to look at it and be like, wow, Jason Tatum. Now, maybe that is what elevates him. But as of now, we're still in the wow phase. That to me is why he's not there.
Didn't Durant just get outplayed by Tatum?
Right. And not just that. I just said that it didn't matter about playing head to head in order to determine what comes next. But now you're saying that it does.
I'm using that as an easy. Like that's to me the easiest when you when you see it, like that's the easiest thing to look at, right? But it's still, when you see it. I agree with you. Tatum did outplay Durant in the series we just got through. And I think that was a watered down version of Durant who was running on fumes.
Superstar to me doesn't get watered down.
If he's a superstar, then he's a superstar.
Yeah. He played 48 minutes in those 2 games you're talking about against Milwaukee last year.
He took a hit. And if we're sitting here talking about what's wrong with Kevin Durant 2 months into next season, and Tatum is first or second in the MVP conversation, different, and Tatum goes on and you know, beats the Bucks in this series, and like to me, this is the series that makes Jason Tatum a superstar.
So Paul George last year against Utah, right? We get the notification right after Game 4 that Kawhi's going to be out the rest of the series, and it's like, oh wow, like they have to go into the Clippers have all this bad luck. They now have to go back into Utah, tied it to, you know, this looked like there was going to be their chance, and then they have to go into now. I assume you might go, well, Utah, that's more their fault, but Paul George getting 45 in Game 5 to turn the series back towards them, then another 35 in Game 6, then going down 3-1 to the Clippers isn't great, but then 40, I think it was either 37 or 38 in Game 5 to send it back to LA. Like those are one game superstar performances.
I think there are, I am a big believer that there are, again, between 5 and 10 of these guys in the league at any given time. And I think 10 is too many. I think there's less than 10. I think Paul George, I'd probably have, again, today, I'd probably have Tatum, Lillard, and George and Paul George in some order, and then Booker as 12. And those would be the next 4 for me. I don't know, you know, maybe Paul George is 9. I don't.
Here's my thing. You can cut off at 8 to 10. And normally I might say that sounds about right. But look at the ages of the players that we're talking about. There are 2 generations of players that are clashing, and the overlap is causing there to be more than the 8 to 10 guys. And that's the way I see it, where, like, again, you've got Jokic, Antetokounmpo, and Embiid are in their mid-20s. You've got Doncic, Tatum, they're in their early 20s. I mean, Steph Curry is in his mid-30s. Kevin Durant's in his mid-30s. Chris Paul's in his late 30s.
But there are other guys you don't have on here who are coming. Anthony Edwards is coming. Zion's coming. Ja's coming.
Well, true or false? Elite players on the horizon. Thank you for the lead-in. John Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Zion Williamson, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, LaMelo Ball. Like, these are players where, to me, they're so early on in their careers that it's like what we're seeing from Ja has been great. We also know that his inability to do mid-range or pull-ups, like, you live with the shot diets that he has.
You live with the last shot he took against the Warriors, and
100%,
because that was the only shot he was ever going to take.
Right. Like, you could look at SGA and be like, oh, he's an incredible talent. Look at what he's doing with OKC. And then he gets shut down, and that takes away from the star potential. And you could look at the team that's around him, but then you could potentially look at other things and be like, well, maybe he's not a superstar. Maybe he's still a star. Like, look at all the things he's doing well. But until you get to the playoffs, and it's just a tough thing to do, but there's the push and pull of the team factor. And Zion Williamson, who has played 85 games in 3 years, we've seen miraculous things from him.
It's an issue.
Anthony Edwards, again, like 20 years old, 21 years old, like what he's been able to accomplish with Minnesota.
He's 20.
Yeah. He's 20, right? That's fantastic. Cade Cunningham is a rookie. LaMelo Ball, second year in the league. And Cade was fantastic, and should have been up there in the Rookie of the Year award voting. Although I still don't think he necessarily should have won. Maybe should have gone to Mobley, but we're splitting hairs here. And LaMelo, again, like, a great offensive talent. There's a lot to work with there. But a big reason why I didn't mention any of these players in the list beforehand is because let's go back to the thought process of how to acquire a superstar, right? It's the draft. The Knicks did not draft any of these players. They're all under the age of 30. They all have team control for eons. They're not going to be traded anytime soon, and they're not going to hit unrestricted free agency anytime soon. So I didn't list them because they don't even matter in terms of where we're focused on with the Knicks in the next few years.
Technically, because someone is going to make a comment about this. Yes, technically, Zion Williamson can become an unrestricted free agent in 2 years. It's not going to happen. If effectively these teams have team control for eons.
Well, they will all get max contracts because if you're a team, you wave it in front of them, and it's the same tried and true method. Get your money, and if you want to get out, you get out. But if they're true superstars, they're not going anywhere until at least 1 year remaining, or at the earliest 1 year remaining or less on their contracts.